morning, students. So in the last class we have discussed about the multivariable control system, where the number of variables to be controlled and the number of manipulated variables are more than one. So whenever we need to control the more than one variables, there is a chance of some decoupling or interactions between the different process. So for that we need to have more number of control configurations. For that, in order to design the control system for this type of memo control systems, memo means multiple input multiple output control systems. So first we have to find out what are the control objectives and what output should be measured among all the variables, and what inputs can be measured, and what manipulated variables should be used, and finally what is the configuration of control loop. So in order to design a control system for this memo process, we need to answer all these questions. And also we have discussed in the last class, for a system with n controlled and n manipulated variables, there are factorial and different control configurations. For example, if n equal to 5, there are almost 120 different configurations, possibilities. So out of which we have to find out the best one. So that is a very difficult process and also a very important process. So in the last class we have discussed about the small flash drum control. So where we have taken the 4 control variables, that is the pressure, temperature, and feed flow rate and level of the particular drum. So here we may have some 4 factor means 24 control configurations which we have already discussed. So among that we have selected the one configuration, that is the third one, where the feed water flow rate can be controlled by the by manipulating the feed flow only, whereas the pressure can be controlled by manipulating the flow of the vapor, temperature can be controlled by the steam flow rate, and level can be controlled by the flow of the liquid, outflow of the liquid. So as per syllabus, we have to discuss some other examples of the multivariable control. Those are distillation column and boiler control. So here I would like to discuss about the distillation column. I will try to make you people to understand what is distillation column in this class. The controlling for distillation column is somewhat difficult at this stage, you may not understood. So first what I would like to do is I will try to make you people to understand what is distillation column and what are the variables to be controlled. After that I will discuss about the boiler control. Okay, so what is distillation column? Distillation columns are generally used in petrochemical and other chemical producing industries. The distillation is a process by which a liquid mixture is separated into fractions with higher concentration of certain components by exploiting difference in relative volatility. Volatility means nothing but it is a tendency of a substance to evaporate at normal temperatures. So in industries such as oil refineries and natural gas processing plants, this separation process is undertaken using a distillation column. So actually the basic objective of distillation is to take a liquid mixture and separate into 2 or more streams which have compositions different to the feed stream. So just I will give a simple example how it is going to separate. Just assume that we are having the 2 liquids, one is the liquid A and liquid B. Say for example, it is not industry. Just assume that the liquid A is having a boiling point of 75 degrees centigrade, and maybe liquid B is having a boiling point of 110 degrees centigrade. So these both liquids are soluble liquids. That means the liquid mixture contains liquid A and liquid B. So generally we cannot separate these by using normal filtering process or any other process. So for that particular purpose we need to use a distillation column. So that means we have to feed this liquid A and B combination mixture into the distillation, where we are going to separate into 2 streams, that is liquid A and liquid B separately. So as already I told that liquid A is having 75 degrees centigrade and liquid B is having 110 degrees centigrade as their boiling points. So now what it is doing is it is going to separate the liquids by using their different boiling points. Just it can provide a different temperature as well as pressure. So here you can assume that as we are go on heating this liquid in the distillation column, so first the temperature may be some 50 degrees, 60, 70, 74, 75. What happened first? The liquid A, whose boiling point is 75 degrees centigrade, that is converting the liquid into some vapor. Okay, so if the temperature is some 80 degrees centigrade, so almost all the liquid, the components of liquid A will be converted into vapor. And in the top of the distillation column, we are going to take that vapor and we are going to condense again. So that condensed liquid, again it is converted into liquid. So that liquid, the top product, that liquid contains the more components of A. And in the bottom side, it remains only the liquid B. So which is having the components of more components of B concentration. So like this, we are going to separate the two liquids. So in the industries also, whenever we need to separate some crude oil or some oil refineries, we are going to use this distillation column. So the basic object, again I am telling, the basic objective is to take liquid mixture and separate it into two or more streams which has compositions different to the feed stream. In a basic distillation column, a feed stream enters in the middle of the column and two streams leave, one at the top and another one at the bottom. So the complete distillation column is made into some different columns. So top portion, middle portion and bottom portion. So in the middle portion, the liquid which is to be separated, the mixture is entered, and the top and bottom, the different liquid streams are separated and they are leaving. So the components with lower boiling points are concentrated in the stream, leaving the top, while the components with higher boiling points are concentrated in the stream, leaving the bottom. Just like I told, liquid A, which is having low boiling point, will be leaving from the top, whereas the liquid B, which is having high boiling point, leaving from the bottom. So if you observe this one, this may be a small representation or schematic of the distillation column. Say these are different columns, some trays. By using some stream or by using some reboilers, we are going to produce some heat. By using that heat only, the feed is going to convert that liquid into vapor stage. So the feed is entered into the in the middle of column. So as the feed is entered in the middle of the column, and for this complete distillation column, we are providing some amount of temperature as well as some pressure by means of some other arrangements. So the liquid which is having low boiling point will be converted into water, liquid into some vapor, and that we are taking as the top product. And again we are going to use some, this is called a condensate, and that will be converted into pure liquid. And whereas in the bottom side, the liquid which having the high boiling point remains, and that we can take it as the bottom product. And here also we are having, again, in order to get the pure form of that particular high boiling point, again we are going to reboil that one and we can take. So this is called, this is reboiler, and this is called as bottom product. So this is a distillation column. So generally it is going to separate the two liquid mixtures just by making use of what is called as volatility. Volatility means what? It is a tendency of a substance to evaporate at normal temperatures. All the liquids having the tendency to evaporate. Maybe the substance A may evaporate at particular temperature, maybe 100 degrees centigrade. The other substance may evaporate at some 1000 degrees centigrade. Other may have some 500 degrees centigrade. So depending upon the using of these different tendencies of the substance to evaporate at normal temperatures, we are going to convert the liquid mixture into different liquid products. So this separation of liquid is achieved by controlling the column temperature. This is nothing but column. This complete one is called a column. So achieved by the controlling the column temperature as well as pressure profiles to take the advantage of difference in relative volatility of mixture components, and therefore tendency to change the phase. That means that may change from the liquid phase into vapor phase. The lighter, that means the vehicle which are having low boiling point components evaporate fast and travel up the column to form the top product. Heavier components which are having the higher boiling point components condense and traveling down the column and form the bottom product. So there are some terms that are commonly used to describe the main parts of a distillation column. Those are some important. I'm not going to discuss all this one. Just to go through that one. Feed is nothing but, it is also nothing but liquid or gas feed into the distillation column, or which is going to be separated. The heavy component means which is having the lower relative volatility, and light component is having the higher relative volatility. Like that, they are having some different trays between the bottom of the column and feed tray. So that is called a stripping section. And upper side we are having the rectifying section. Just the product which leaves at the top of the column is called a top product. The product which leaves through the bottom of the column is called a bottom product. And here the important one is called as reflux. That is actually the top product is a actually vapor form that we have to condense, and we have to convert the vapor into liquid. So in that there are some density of the components may change. So reflux is nothing but it is a portion of vapor from the top of the column which has been condensed to a liquid and returned to the column as a liquid above the top tray. So like that there are some definitions of the elements. Just to go to that one. So here I am trying to discuss about the main components of distillation column. These are made up of several components. Each of these components are used to transfer the heat energy or enhance the material transfer. There are the major components are vertical shell, where the separation of liquid component is carried out. This is nothing but completely vertical cell. Nothing but completely vertical cell. So where actually the separation of liquid components is carried out. Next, column internals such as trays, plates or packings which are used to enhance the component separations. So these are called as some trays, different columns. At different columns we are going to maintain different temperature in order to enhance our product. Purifying in order to get the pure products we need to maintain some different temperatures. I will show some other diagram also in the petrochemical industries. So these are called as trays. And a reboiler to provide the necessary vaporization for the distillation process. So this is the reboiler. In order to get the pure product of the bottom, we are going to heat again the product by using reboiler. In a similar way, a condenser to cool and condense the vapor leaving the top of the column. The liquid which is having low boiling temperature will be converted into vapor. So that should be converted into what you call a liquid. Further we are going to use the condenser. A reflux drum to hold the condensed vapor from the top of the column so that liquid can be recycled back to the column. So this one is called a reflux drum. So that is used to hold the condenser vapor from the top of the column so that liquid can be recycled back to the column. So what is the basic operation? So the liquid mixture that is to be processed is known as the feed, and that is introduced usually somewhere near middle of the column as already discussed. So the feed tray divides the column into top section, bottom section, that is rectification and stripping section. The feed flows down the column where it is collected at the bottom in the reboiler, and heat is supplied to the reboiler to generate vapor. The source of heat can be taken by any suitable fluid, or in most of the chemical plants that is a normal stream. In refineries, the heating source may be the output stream of the other columns. There may be different columns which output stream తీసుకుంటుంది. The vapor raised in the reboiler is reproduced into the unit at the bottom of the column. The liquid removed from the reboiler is known as bottom product or simply bottoms. So here we are having some different feed here, tray 2, tray 1, tray 2 like this. So actually the liquid which is having low boiling point is converted into vapor and provided as the top product. But here in the tray 1 we are having only some high temperature where it is converted to some stream, and we are going to, that is going to the reboiler. So that we can take it as the, after some time it will be, right, so normal liquid which is having the high boiling point. The vapor moves up the column. Already I told that which is having the low boiling point. It exists at the top of the unit. It is cooled by the condenser. The condenser is nothing but the process of converting the vapor into liquid phase. So the condensed liquid is stored in the holding vessel known as reflux drum. Some of this liquid is recycled back, and this is called as reflux. The condensed liquid is removed from the system is known as distillate or top product. This is nothing but top product or distillate product. So if you observe this one, generally in most of the chemical industries, normally we are observing some Reliance Industries or ONGC. The main function of ONGC is to extract the crude oil, and from that crude oil it is going to produce some different products. So generally the crude oil is taken from the seas, that is called as shore and tamu. From the underside of the sea we are going to take the crude oil, and then that will be converted into different products depending upon their boiling points. So this is called as actually a complete distillation column. Here it is going to maintain different trays or columns. At different columns it is going to maintain some different temperatures. So this is at top of the column we are having only 70 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 300, 390, 570, like this it is. Bottom side we are having the more temperature. So the crude oil actually generally contains different types of gases like methane, and it also contains some various components like gasoline, diesel, kerosene, some other fuel oils, etc. Naphthas, that is also like gasoline. Okay, so this feed is nothing but here pure that is crude oil which is containing of different components. So here what happens is crude oil has many compounds in it which cannot be separated by filtering or by other process. Hence crude oil should be sent into the distillation column, this complete distillation column. It produces different products such as light gases like methane or naphthol, which are having at low boiling point, and maybe rank tar, which is having high boiling point in the bottom of the column, and various components like gasoline, kerosenes, diesel in between. So the liquid which is having low boiling, immediately at 70 degree Fahrenheit only, the crude oil ఉన్నటువంటి, that is methane gaani, naphthals, that will be converted into vapor, and here we are taking the gases which are having the low boiling point. And next 300 degrees, 390 at different trays at different temperatures maintained by using some stream. So at 300 degrees centigrade naphthas, 390 kerosene, 570 gas oils, 84 degrees lubricants, 19 degrees Fahrenheit fuel oil, and finally we are also getting some road tar also. So by using this process we are going to convert the complete liquid mixture into different products by using their volatility property. That means they are a tendency to evaporate at different temperatures. So this is about the distillation column. So there we need to control so many variables. That's why it is called a multivariable control. So we need to control the vapor pressure, vapor flow rate, and level of the distillation column, and flow rate of the different gas oils, but each are having some effect on the other process also. So for that, first in order to design a control configuration, for this first we have to find out what are the different control objectives, and out of which can be measured. And for controlling the particular, for example, fuel oil flow rate, what are the manipulated variables you have to take. Generally for flow we can control by using feed flow. Vapor pressure may be converted into maybe controlled by using the pressure in the distillation column. So like that we have to design the control system for distillation column. So the last topic in our subject. So with this, we are going to complete the entire syllabus. That is a boiler. So generally we know that. I think most of you people have gone for industrial visit at KTPS. That is thermal power plant where we are in the boiler. So what is the function of boiler? The main purpose of the boiler is to heat the water and generate the steam. So this steam can be used for variety of purposes, including some space heating, sterilization, drying, and for power generation by using turbine rotation. So as we have discussed already previous. Okay. So generally the primary source of the boilers are feed water and some fuel and air. Where the steam demands changes according to the requirements in the power plant. If you want to generate the more power, we require more amount of steam and more temperature, more pressure and more flow rate. And depending upon these requirements, we need to change the fuel flow rate, air flow rate, maybe feed water flow rate. So mainly here there are so many parameters to be controlled. That's why I am taking it as also a multivariable control. So the purpose of this boiler control is to achieve some safe operation, reliability, optimize performance with respect to load change response, fuel cost and emissions also. So even though the load variations, load changes, we have to get the some control that achieve safe operation. What is safe? I will discuss. If you are not able to control the level of the boil to a proper level, what happens? That leads to some damage of some boiler tubes. So for that, the main purpose of our boiler control is to achieve our safe operation, reliability and optimized performance. So important controls for in the boiler are drum level, fuel flow, air flow and some flue gases. So already you know that flue gases. I think in the next semester maybe we are going to discuss a subject called power plant instrumentation, where we also discuss. Generally the air flow is coming. What is the purpose of air here? In order to produce a combustion, the fuel must be burned at a particular proper amount of with combustion of air. The process of burning the fuel by combining with air is nothing but combustion. So the fuel, in order to get the proper combustion, the air and fuel must maintain some ratio, desired ratio. Fuel to air ratio must be controlled. Okay, generally the air can be taken from the FD fans, forced draft fans, and after converting the water into steam, there are some type of gases are exhausted from the steam, and that is unwanted gas are exited to the environment, to the weather through some chimney, through that is also called as ID fans, induced draft fans. Through that the flue gases which are not necessary, there are undesired gases which may contain some carbon monoxide like that. So that means flue gas oxygen. So that can cause some pollution in the environment. So in order to reduce the pollution, we have to use some precipitators. So here as an example of multivariable control, we are going to concentrate on mainly on drum level control. Say this is a boiler drum, just assume that is a boiler drum where the feed water is entered from air, and from somewhere we are going to get the some what you call as fuel and air combination. So that by using the heat energy of that particular combustion, the feed water is converted into steam. The steam is flowing through this one. From here it is going to some different process station or different turbines depending upon that particular process. So here my aim is to control the level of this particular boiler drum. So for that we are having the level indicator. So this level may be varied either by changing the feed water flow rate or by changing the steam flow rate. So as already we have discussed about the feedback and feed forward cascade control, we may have to use any one of that. Clear? So here the feed water flow rate can be measured and controlled here. So here we will see what are different types of controls we are using and what is the need of drum level control. A dramatic decrease in this level may uncover boiler tubes, that allowing them to become overheated and damaged. If the level is not maintained at required, all the tubes, boiler tubes are not covered and may get without water, they may get overheated and damaged. In another way, if there is an increase in the level, may interfere with the process of some moisture from steam within the drum, thus reducing the boiler efficiency and carrying moisture into the process or turbine. In the steam, we have to get a complete vapor stage only. But if it is not maintaining, if you are having some moisture, that may contain some other unwanted particles that will reduce the boiler efficiency. So in order to overcome these two, we have to maintain the drum level at our desired value. The desired value of the drum level may be depending upon the, here we are not going to design the level. We are not going to set the set point. That is depending upon the stream demand, power demand, that is actually varied. So for that, generally there are three options are there. That is called a single element drum level control, 2 element drum level control, 3 element drum level control. 3 element drum level control. So first, in the single element control, it is very simplest but least effective form of drum level control. Here we take the small normal feedback control only. Just the drum level is measured by using some level transmitter, a level sensor that is given to the controller, where that gives us a signal, and that output signal varies the feed water flow rate. That will make the drum level to our desired value. Normal feedback control. This is the measurement part, and that is compared with the desired level in the controller part, that produces an output signal. The output signal will change the feed water flow rate. Very simply, we are going to control the drum level. So there is some disadvantage of that single element control. So just we are going to maintain the level at our desired value only by considering only feed water, and sometimes there is a chance of varying the demand of steam. Demand of steam. As the steam demand changes, what happens? The steam flow rate may be increased depending upon our requirements. So that may also cause the decrease in level. So for that, as just like a feed forward control, we have to consider the steam flow also as another part, as another disturbance, other variable. So where I am going to consider two variables, that is two elements, drum level as well as stream flow. So that's what is called a 2 element drum level control. Here the steam flow acts as feed forward signal to allow faster level adjustments. It is applied to single boiler or single feed pump configurations with a constant feed water pressure. So here for the controller, we are taking the information from the drum level as well as steam flow. There is a desired level, and depending upon this, we are going to change the feed water flow rate. So that disadvantage can be eliminated. Whereas other one is the third one, which is the most widely used method in almost all the boilers. So this 3 element drum level control is ideally suited where a boiler plant consisting of multiple boilers, that is more than one boiler, and multiple feed water pumps, or feed water has variation in pressure or flow. The 3 elements are made up of the following. One is the single element, I already we have discussed, that is level element, and the 2 element that is combined with the stream flow. In addition to that, it is also taking the feed water flow rate also. So the 3 parameters can be measured, just like it is a combination of feed forward, feedback, as well as you can say that cascade also. So we are in the 3 element control, we are going to measure all these 3. Level of the drum can be measured, steam flow as well as what is the present feed water flow rate also measured. And depending upon taking all these 3 constraints, we are going to, again, the controlling variable is feed water only. So we are going to change the feed water flow rate. So like this, the boiler level can be controlled. Not only this one, there are other controls also there. Fuel ratio, fuel flow rate, air flow rate. But as an example, I have discussed only drum level control. So with this, we have completed all the 5 units, all the topics. So in the next sessions, we may go for revision of all the units. depending upon your feedback. So which topic you want, I will try to discuss those points, those topics only. Okay, so this I'm going to conclude the process dynamics and control subject.